What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka Allfires, and hilariously, Marvel Studios is actually doing it. They're giving us brand new reveals for the Fantastic Four every single day in the month of July, leading up to the film's drop in theaters next week. And today is no different, and coming from the editorial USA Today, where their exclusive included the reveal and official confirmation that Paul Walter Hauser is actually playing Mole Man, and we got our first look at him in the film. They actually did an interview with him where he got to talk about the villain. We're going to fill in all the details for this official Mole Man teaser, and again, this isn't a leak or a spoiler, it's literally posted in USA Today as a part of Marvel's official marketing campaign. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button, thanks to everyone who's been subscribing lately and helped grow the channel, and in fact, we're going to do another round of the ticket giveaways for Fantastic Four at the end of this video. If you haven't already, I would just kindly invite you to hit that sub button and leave a comment. It's the #1 way to support the channel, plus it'll enter you for the giveaways. Stick around to the end of the video. We'll announce a brand new Fantastic Four ticket giveaway winner there. Okay, so this broke today talking about the villains for the Fantastic Four under the headline from USA Today, Fantastic Four First Look, Meet the Complicated Foes for Marvel's Heroes. Now, they talk a little bit about Galactus at the beginning, and Ralph Ineson, the guy playing Galactus, says, quote, "I would not say he's evil because he's just pursuing what he does. There's no kind of actual human malice." They also talk a little bit about Silver Surfer, but then get into Paul Walter Hauser playing Mole Man under the subheadline, Paul Walter Hauser digs Mole Man, the Fantastic Four's first foe. They give us our first official look at him in the film, which I have to say, at first I'm like, what is this costume? Literally a jumpsuit jacket, but if you look back at what Mole Man actually wears, maybe it was pretty impossible for them to have a comic book accurate take on this. And remember, there would have been a point in time beforehand where the Fantastic Four and Mole Man were actually adversaries, and it's pretty much well known and common knowledge at this point that since then they're going to have found an amicable way forward and maybe even be working together. But as the article goes on to explain about this take of Mole Man, there's a reason he's dressed the way he is. They go on to say, quote, "The Mole Man was the first bad guy that faced the Fantastic Four in the debut issue of their 1961 comic book, a nuclear engineer who led a race of subterranean creatures and monsters. The MCU version of Harvey Elder is, quote, really more of a union boss than a supervillain," the director Matt Shakman says. Quote, "Hauser notes that the comic version is vicious and heinous and unrelenting, while his character is aligned with humanity. Quote, he's living sort of in the shadows like a villain would, but he's also taking care of an entire race of people and trying to live his life without being bothered. And his opposition to the Fantastic Four is political in nature," Hauser teases. Quote, "It's a power struggle, but within that, there are compromises and alliances made. Adds Shakman, he's all about community, and that's why Sue and Harvey have a good relationship and they get along. They understand each other." Okay, so this just downright confirms they've done a totally different take on the character. And look, I know there's going to be some purists out there who have agendas or whatever and say Marvel has ruined Mole Man, but I dare you to look me in the face and say that Mole Man was even in the top 20 of your favorite characters. And remember, since they're doing different takes of characters like Shala Ball Silver Surfer instead of Norrin Rad, of course they have the room to do whatever they want with Mole Man. And plus, as I referenced during this video, maybe that villain didn't age as well as he was first presented in the comics. Maybe it didn't make sense to have that kind of Mole Man be a part of the film, at least in not any way that pushes the plot forward. And so in this, there's a whole different take on the character in order to serve the narrative. Speaking of which, talking about serving the narrative, they also admitted yesterday in the Variety article that they cut John Malkovich's Red Ghost from the film because it simply didn't work. Industry insider Jeff Snyder immediately weighed in and said, well, that's pretty wild because John Malkovich is a huge actor and you had him do a part in a Marvel movie, now you're not even going to use him. He also went on to say that the film is pretty good and maybe it didn't need him in the first place. And I, of course, am into that. I think characters should serve a role. It's not just cameos for cameo's sake. And at some rate, you do have to cut things in order for a movie to flow better. And so we're hearing about these different takes on villains, and it seems like Marvel Studios put a montage in there for us at some rate during the beginning of the film. Based on all the reports from the pre-screeners and the test screeners, we're going to get to see a lot of comic book villains from their early days. And I'll admit there was a part of me that was excited to see John Malkovich do his Teddy KGB, but for a villain for the Fantastic Four in the Marvel Universe. But if it doesn't actually push the plot forward, it's understandable why they may have cut him. Now, as far as these daily reveals, and I've talked about it here at the channel before. Look, they've done this before. They went ahead about a week out from the Marvels and to try to move that box office number, revealed that the X-Men were going to be a part of it. The same way they did for Multiverse of Madness, where they didn't really acknowledge the Illuminati at all till about the last week beforehand. Then we started getting TV spots confirming every Illuminati character. I am not sure if Marvel feels extra pressure with this because of the name of the Fantastic Four and them wanting it to be the best performing movie this year, them wanting this team to be a tentpole for the MCU, and then the added pressure of Superman seemingly overperforming at the box office beyond what the expectations and the tracking were. But what I will also say is that Fantastic Four, and reportedly since the day the tickets went on sale, has been tracking well at the box office, maybe even better than the initial tracking for Superman, and so by all accounts, it's not the box office fears that would be driving this marketing campaign. I feel like Marvel Studios might actually feel like they need to do this in order to keep ramping up the hype. So yes, we are still a week out from when it drops in theaters, another 7 days of new TV spots and reveals, and part of me wonders if we aren't even going to get a bigger one next week. And I know some of you showed your frustration in the comments yesterday when we finally got a shot of Galactus. Why do they keep revealing this? But try to keep in mind, in the grand scheme of things, even with all of these new TV spots and new frames and confirmations about the plot, we've still only seen less than about 12 minutes of the film total in the trailers. There's still a lot more to be revealed, and as we've been talking about slowly at the channel over the last couple of weeks, in spite of all this, we know that there's secret characters that aren't being mentioned. We also know that there's huge implications about how the multiverse works, and none of that has been spoiled in any of the leaks. None of it's been spoiled in the pre-screener reactions. So I still think there's a lot that this film is going to offer in the way of surprises, especially since we know that, mandated from the top down, some of Reed's quote-unquote science is going to be solely in service of setting up things for Avengers Doomsday, the same way they worked anchor beans into Deadpool and Wolverine. Look, I ain't mad at it. They got limited real estate. We have to understand a lot about the multiverse. I expect there to be huge reveals, still a huge spectacle of a film, and as I said, that initial box office tracking is actually doing fantastic. Pun totally intended. So they are not trying to spoil all this stuff in a need to sort of drive the box office. This is just how they've decided to market these films. This is what it is. So take it or leave it. We are getting new reveals, and I suspect we're going to get a lot more in the next week. You guys let me know all your thoughts down below. As always, quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff and announce a new ticket winner. Okay, the newest round of the Fantastic Four ticket giveaway winner is Brian Bastante 4454 for this comment here. Thank you so much. DM me on Instagram at IamFires or email me on my business email under the About section on the channel. We'll get you verified. We'll get the tickets right out to you guys. It's that simple. If you want to be entered to win, we're going to do a couple more this week and next week. And then we have a PS5 giveaway for the Fantastic Four drop. All you got to do is be a sub, leave a comment because it's truly random. The more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners always announced at the end of videos with the winning comment shown on screen and my voice. The best way to keep up with the content has always been to hit that notification bell with all notifications turned on. And as always, if you like today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name's Michael Roman. Find me on Instagram and Twitter at IamFires. Find me on all other platforms under the name All Fires with original music, including the background song you're hearing here. And thank you so much to everyone who's been supporting. I am seeing all the comments. I am glad you dig the track. Thank you so much for the clicks. It actually means the world to me because my music has been my artistic passion, and since I was very little, it just so happened that I happened to screw around. Became a YouTuber before my music dreams became true, but that doesn't mean I have to give up. And for those of you still supporting me in that, I cannot thank you enough. Thanks for supporting me here as well. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.